as she maintained, I know where Caylee is. She's with the nanny, and she's...
Have you ever seen this nanny?
No, sir.
Have you ever seen your sister field a phone call from the nanny or make a phone call to the nanny?
No, sir.
Okay. And did she refer to her by any other name than nanny?
No.
Because I've heard Zandy the nanny and all kinds of, but I've never heard.
I've actually never heard the name Zenaida until when she told that to the first responding officer.
That's the first time.
That's the first time I've ever heard the name Zenaida.
Okay.
I've always just heard nanny. Casey maintained that, Caylee's at the nanny's house. She's sleeping. I don't want to take her out of, what's been normal for her lately. We can go get her in the morning. I don't want to interrupt her. And frankly, it didn't make a lot of sense to me because it had been, at that time, weeks that my mother had not been able to... She hadn't seen even my sister. She hadn't talked to Caylee. While she's had communication with Casey, she's not had any communication with Caylee. And my mother was extremely concerned because of the nature of how we were notified about the car, and that my sister even claimed that she was out of the city when she wasn't. That my mother is saying, okay, if you weren't where you were, how do I know where Caylee is, where you say that she's been? So she was pretty much saying, you're going to have to prove it to me. So I was trying to facilitate other options to my sister by saying, I will go. Tell me where I can go to see Caylee myself. I'll go for 5 minutes. I'll do it your way. I'll go and just make sure that she's okay. I even offered to have my roommate, a good friend of mine, a good friend of ours, go to verify that she's okay. And my sister maintained that, Mom won't allow it to happen, and while my mother continued in the background to say, that's unacceptable, I want her here, I want her home, I don't want just to see her, I want to hold her, I want her to be here. Every time my mother would go outside, I'd try to ask something to my sister that maybe she wouldn't feel comfortable saying in front of my mom. Asking what's going on, what's the deal. She still maintained everything, but she would say, that's when she opened up to me and said, Mom has thrown it in my face many times before that I'm an unfit mother, and maybe she's right, maybe I am. She offered up to me for the first time that my mother has said to my sister that even though Caylee's been the best thing and the best mistake, that she was indeed a mistake, that she was Casey's mistake.
It almost seemed like an overall theme that she's carrying
Yes.
with her, that her mother was disappointed in her.
Right.
Because of...
Or maybe not feel like Casey is being the mother that she should be towards Caylee.
Okay.
Which I know Casey does not provide for that child. She provides love and good parenting as far as raising her. However, monetarily and providing her with food and toys and shelter and things like that.
Grandparents.
Exactly. That's never been my sister, and she knows that. My sister knows that. I mean, she's still living at home. She's always lived at home. She's never lived away from the house any more than a vacation, like 3 days or a week at the most.
This is the longest.
Absolutely. This is the longest that she's been away from the residence.
Okay.
My sister or Caylee.
On the 24th, about 10:30 in the morning, I went to go cut my grass in my house. As I walked around the side where I keep my lawnmower and all that stuff, as I walked around the side, I found my shed doors open probably about 4 or 5 inches. I had a lock on it. As I popped my head inside, the gas cans were gone.
The grandmother actually says Caylee's mom stole not only money, but her car.
I went looking for my daughter. I chased her. I mean, I saw her leaving with my wife's vehicle.
You saw her leave the house, or?
Oh, yeah. Saw her leave the house, driving up Chickasaw, getting on the 408, and I told her, I'm following her. George, I said, I'm following her. I said, I'm tired of this.
When that was mentioned to your wife, she just completely denied any knowledge of that.
Well, it'd be easy to find on the e-pass.
Caylee was an excellent mother.
I just want Caylee back. That's all they're worried about right now, is getting Caylee back. And you know what? That's all I care about right now. Casey, your daughter, your flesh and blood, your baby girl.
Christina, please, put my brother back on the phone. I don't want to get into this with you right now.
Caylee was an excellent mother.
I just want Caylee back. That's all they're worried about right now.
Your flesh and blood, your baby girl.
Christina, please, put my brother back on the phone. I don't want to get into this with you right now.
Excellent mother.
On the Record has obtained disturbing information about Caylee Anthony. Apparently not all has been rosy in the Anthony household for some time. Caylee took money without permission from her disabled grandfather's banking account, money that was supposed to pay for the nursing home where he receives care and lives. When confronted with the theft, Caylee told her grandmother that she had borrowed the money for an expense related to her job at Universal, and that Universal would reimburse the money. However, there is a problem. The statement about a job at Universal proved to be a lie. According to our source, Caylee was so irresponsible with running up debts that her mother Cindy had to go into her own 401k to bail out her daughter financially. Well, that's not all. Our source also says that Caylee lied about her pregnancy with Caylee. Caylee denied to relatives she was pregnant for the first 7 months of her pregnancy despite obvious physical signs, and that her mother Cindy backed her up and told family she believed her daughter's denials about being pregnant. The baby was born 2 months later. Some family members are and have been perplexed at Cindy, her mother's willingness to believe everything her daughter Caylee says.
I'm living with a very strong-willed woman that I love very much, and I've got a daughter who's almost has the same personality, and it's hard living with 3 women, believe me, guys.
I can't say things that's going to jeopardize what we're doing looking for this child, and I refuse to do so.
Why is it that what she may say about the search for Caylee would hurt Caylee?
Well, again, the people that have her, the whole reason Casey's behind bars is because she's protecting Caylee's safety.
I know you will not reveal who your daughter says has Caylee, but do you know who it is? Has she told you?
Again, we're pretty confident that we're on the right track.
So I'm going to take that as a yes.
It's Casey's maintained all along she doesn't know where Caylee's at.
Right after we had called in about our granddaughter being missing, might have been the 2nd or 3rd day, my wife and I are just walking around the house thinking every little thing that could have happened.
That's the 15th.
Right, as gruesome as it could have been, we're thinking, you hate to think this about your own child.
Of course.
And she said, George, I hope something happened. She didn't panic.
Did Cindy Anthony ever reveal to you that she believed her daughter Caylee was hiding something about little Caylee's disappearance?
Yes, she did. The morning of the 16th when I talked to Cindy, she told me that she believed Caylee was guilty of something and she did not know what, but she didn't care if it ended up with Caylee being behind bars for the rest of her life as long as she got Caylee home.
There's no evidence that she is dead. And until that day, and whoever's responsible, no matter if it's her mother or what, I will want justice to be served. And if that points the finger to my daughter and they have concrete proof and not circumstantial evidence, I'll be the first one to say she needs to be where she's at.
Amy was concerned with some things that your wife said on the way to pick up your daughter about that, even. She said...
See, I don't know what they talked about.
Yeah. Well, and those are flags to us where, the original approach of the vehicle was even a concern to Mom, is how Amy put it.
We now learn the grandmother who has been with us, was with us last week, has been all over the media in her efforts to try to find her little granddaughter, is now saying she's ready to forgive her daughter for whatever she did wrong.
Some family members are and have been perplexed at Cindy, her mother's willingness to believe everything her daughter Caylee says.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy.